space up so that, hi, Katie. Oh, your video is working. Amazing. And Krista, good to see your face.
Hey,
Carmen.
Krista.
Oh, and Terry. This is so fun already. Losing my mind. And Jenna, hello.
Hello.
Oh, this is so good. So good. I just tried streaming live to Facebook. We are not going to be able to do that today. So I'll post the replay after for you to look at again if you want to, or for those that couldn't make it to us with us here with us live. There we go. And Angela, nice
Hey,
to
Angela.
see you. Yeah, so we just wanted to sort of like, I mean, I was going to give more time, but you are all like very on time. I'm really, really impressed. You are ready for gratitude.
Yeah, I think we can get going.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, and Michelle too. All right, let's see. So if you all want to just drop in the chat, you're welcome to, you don't have to, but where you're coming from. And maybe if you started the gratitude practice this morning, any thoughts you have on it so far. Been really loving seeing in the Facebook group what you guys are posting already. When Lauren and I talked about doing this, you have an idea and then it comes to life and it's like really coming to life and taking on its own life. And that is just really, really beautiful. So I deeply appreciate all of you for showing up and sharing your energy with us in whatever way feels good for you. But yeah, I think we'll just get started. Lauren and I are going to introduce ourselves a little bit and just talk about, talk about this practice, have some space for you all to share a little bit if you like, or you can just witness and observe. Really, this is just to, I have to break in. Michelle, it's really good to see you with your background. Michelle just moved across the country to the beach. So yeah. I really miss you here in Colorado already. I went to Moxie this morning and it's like really cold and gloomy and it reminds me of like, just anyway, Michelle and I were meeting at Moxie at least once a week for the past like month. Sorry, got super sidetracked. Basically just really happy that you guys are all here and thanks for sharing this with us. I'll dive in. For those of you I don't know, I know most of you here, but I am Beth Porter, the face behind Earth and Ether. And I call myself an intuitive healer and brand alchemist. I basically help conscious entrepreneurs show up in the world from a really authentic place. So from two sides, the tangible and intangible. From a tangible side, it's branding, marketing, tone of voice, getting your look, tone, and feel out there. The intangible side, I work with a healing modality called emotional polarity technique, which is really to help understand where you have like some blocks or, where you're not really acting from your authentic self, and release those so that you can really show up as you are. I'll hand it over to my co-host, Lauren here.
Thanks, Beth. I'm Lauren. I'm an intuitive healer. I'm a Reiki master. I'm also a body worker. My work is very steeped in the intangible, to use Beth's words, and to bring it into our tangible world. But I do intuitive healing sessions where I help bring you into clarity and alignment with your highest self in any area of your life that you are seeking, and really look at the energetic blocks that are behind that, and communicating with your guides and your spirit team to help bring you what you need to hear. As well as Reiki. I am super into doing Reiki with the elements, specifically with plants. So I have a monthly offering where I do Reiki, calling upon Mother Nature and bring in plants into the practice. And I'm just really passionate about helping people ground and get in touch with the earth, and just really, find that space in between everything that we have going on in the world.
Lovely. Yeah. Lauren has some amazing plant Reiki offerings that are grouped that you should definitely check out. And as part of this offering, we decided to, for one person that is just, actively participating, we thought we would offer a free session with both of us. So upon the closing of this, we will just, collect the folks that are, showing up and, really committing to their practice, and we'll just randomly choose. And if it's you, you'll receive an email and we'll get some sessions scheduled. So that'll be really fun as well. For those that are not live, just letting you know that too. yeah, we're just super happy to be sharing this practice with you. This really came about from, I don't know, the past month. Every time I journaled, I would have this like idea come through that like, oh, you should do a gratitude practice. And I'd be like, yeah, I should do a gratitude practice, and sort of like eye roll. And that sounds like a good, beautiful thing to do. But I had a hard time just like showing up to it. And one day I said to Lauren 2 weeks ago, maybe it was like really recent, like, hey, it would be really cool to do a gratitude practice, but I think I need to do it in community to feel accountable, to like make myself actually do it. And I like have this vision of hosting space for it, but I don't feel like I have the capacity to run it all by myself, or, the way that I am thinking that this could come to life would just be too much for me to do by myself. And Lauren was like, I'm down to do it with you. And so far, it has really been fun to connect and work with Lauren in this way, but also it is keeping me accountable already. So, but truly, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but yeah, gratitude is not the most easy thing for me to do. So it's like, I feel like in this space of being an intentional human and conscious person, it's like the nice, lovely thing to like be grateful and thankful and be in an energy of appreciation. But life is life, and it's sometimes really hard to do that. So that's my intention, is to being in this with you all, keep me accountable, but also just grow the energy of gratitude and appreciation in my life, which is already happening just by reading what people are writing. It's like really blowing my mind. Like I was like teary, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like going to be amazing. Obviously you could tell because I'm like getting out of my body here. So Lauren, if you wanted to share your intention for this practice.
Yeah, so I'll just share really quickly. When you had said to me, like, do you want to do this? And actually at the beginning of quarantine, I had started a gratitude practice and I did it for 30 days, and it like totally like brought me like other places. It was amazing. And then after that, it was just like done. Like I haven't thought about it like since. And then when you said this, I was like, yes, because like it's like the easiest thing to pick up, like, and to let go of. So I was super down when you brought it to me and how to make this, more sustainable and something that really works. But yeah, my intention and my big thing is to like really be in the present, right? Because we're either in the past or in the future, and we're never really like right here. So like my favorite thing about gratitude is coming back to that present moment. And I think just recently, like it's been super hard for me to, like really be here. Like, so my intention is to be more present, be here with you all, and yeah, really connect over this ripple effect that we're going to create out into the world, because our own healing, our own gratitude, like that is everyone else's healing and gratitude too. So we're not doing this like just for ourselves. Like it's a much bigger picture.
Yeah, I feel that a lot. I'm not an astrologer, but I follow astrology, and I just feel like I should also note that November is like not going to be an easy month, and neither is December probably. And not to be to promote fear, but more just like creating practices that can bring you into the present and ground you into the moment, and remember what is nourishing for you, and what we focus on expands, all of that kind of stuff. And so we have a pretty powerful moment happening on the 10th, and then eclipse season starts on the 19th with the full moon. And so there's a lot of churning and big things happening. So yeah, hopefully this will kind of like lay a foundation, for support for that as well. I wasn't going to say that, but it just came out. So
yeah, no, and it's a good point that it's like this collective, there's a density going on right now, right? Like there's a collective density. Yeah. So like that makes this practice even harder. And, if you're here, you're probably a pretty empathic person. You probably feel a lot. So it's harder to go into this practice when you're even just feeling weighted down by, feeling everyone else's energy on you. So gratitude this is talking about why it's hard, right? Like it's hard on many levels. So there's the astrology, there's this idea that, you know, of the collective energy, and then, you know, being human is hard. We're all doing our own healing here, and a lot of healing takes deeper levels. As we all know, there's a lot of things that really need to be moved through, and gratitude is not a substitute for doing our deep healing and work, but it's something that we can have at the same time that can help shift us, and help make those moments easier. And I think a big thing that both Beth and I want to be really conscious of saying is that it's not, gratitude isn't an excuse to like not feel really sad if you're feeling sad, because you should feel sad, you should feel angry, like you should feel all your feelings. But at the same time, we can also be grateful, and we can also be having a shit day, but be grateful for, you know, our breath and just being in the moment for ourselves. And we don't have to negate one or the other. So this is really commonly known as spiritual bypassing. And that's something with this practice, like we do not want to say that we're doing, but more of we're multidimensional. We can go through all our feelings, go through the cycles, go through some really deep shit, but at the same time, really, you know, be grateful for what we can and have those little moments and those little shifts, and then those build over time, right? So we don't have to be weighted so in the density, or we don't have to be so grateful we're flying off the clouds and, you know, like nothing matters and like bypassing everything. We kind of come to that more neutral swing of, I can see all these emotions and still like really be grateful to be a human on this planet. And the last thing I think I want to say is that, you know, we're not really taught how to do this, right? Like everything is about what's going wrong, like what can we fix, but like more of what's going right. We're never taught in school how to be present. Like we have no training, like work training, certifications, and how to like be in this moment. Like we really don't know how to do it. And literally, I feel like society is like, you know, pulling us from like even trying to be that, right? Because it's so contrary. So I feel like this is really, it's really important work, and to just be cognizant of like everything that's going on and kind of like pulling against us, and how we can make this practice really work for us.
Amen. Thank you, Lauren, for that. I'm like, yes. So what you'll see in the practice is Lauren and I have chosen 11 different sort of like sections of life. So you're welcome to go through the practice, just, you know, each day listing what you're grateful for in general, but we thought just to add another layer of helping to bring into the present, and just, you know, a more fine-tuned, I can't think of the right word, but like focused approach. We have a different sort of topic for each day. So today being relationships, and then tomorrow you'll see what that is going to be. So again, the practice is really just what you choose it to be, but you can use the tools that we're using as well, if you like. And I feel like there was something else I was going to say before you talked about why it can be hard. Yeah, that was the big thing where I was like, this is the gratitude practice for the person who doesn't like gratitude, like doesn't like practicing gratitude, because it's really like a lot of permission to show up. If you can hear some vacuuming happening in the background, there's vacuuming in the background, sorry. But yeah, I am grateful for my husband for vacuuming our apartment at least 8 times a day. And the Dyson vacuum that just never seems to quit. Anyway, yeah, it totally threw me off there. But yeah, really wanting to share that like this practice isn't, yeah, it's not natural. We're not programmed to be thinking about the positive, but we're also then like supposed to be good people and like happy people. And, you know, there's a lot of conflict. So yes, this idea of embracing our multidimensionality of ourselves individually, but also that like, yeah, that we don't live in a binary world like the world likes to tell us. And so, yes, I can be angry and frustrated, and I can see the light in these situations and let them live together. But yeah, were you about to say something, Lauren?
No, I was just thinking about how this morning I was just like, ugh, relationships. Like I
Yeah.
can't stand anyone right now.
You're like, I don't want to be around any
Yeah,
person
I
right
was just
now.
like, I know I messaged Beth and I was like, oh, it's so hard already, but it's so good. And that's what we need to be doing in these moments.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone wants to, before we close out, if anyone wants to pop in, unmute and share any intentions that you have or how things have, just whatever, any questions, intentions, thoughts that we can witness kind of together, please feel free to unmute and go.
I just want to say oh, go ahead, Jenna. Go ahead.
You go. Carmen, go. I'll go next.
All right, I'll go first then, since you're so kind. It's good to see you though, just as a side note, Jenna, everybody. But I've been like super sick and I finally went to the doctor today. I had like 2 viruses and COVID within the last 6 weeks. So like it's been rough. So I went to the doctor again this morning and I had a sinus infection. So she gave me a whole bunch of medication, but I came home and I did the practice because I was like, I need to do the practice. And I like the whole idea of like, not just like my family, because there was a lot of like people I could be grateful for, but like the physician assistant I saw today was so amazing. And then it was a super early appointment. So I was like the first in the pharmacy, and the woman like, usually have to wait for your name to come up so you can get back in line. But she just like hollered my name and it was all so smooth. And so it was like a really nice practice just to be like it fucking sucks to be like sick again. Let me just like get that out there. Excuse my language, but then like to find like the things that I could be grateful in the moment of the people that were there and that were showing up was a really nice shift of like, yes, again, like the two sides of it. Like you can be angry and feel like crappy about all this stuff that's happening, but at the same time, find those like gems of joy. So it was really nice to come home and practice that, which normally I would just like sit and like wallow in my sadness of like, I'm sick again. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
Carmen,
for
I just want to give you a big hug.
From a distance, you don't want anything of what I've had.
I guess that's true. Okay, I'll share what I experienced, and what I noticed is that it was easy, that some people were, I came up with a list and then I thought about, adding to it, or anyway, what I noticed is that with some people, it was very easy to be grateful. With other people, I had to struggle. It was like with my sister, I have some conflicting emotions. And so for me, it was really good to be able to kind of set aside sort of the more negative things and just focus on, my gratitude for the part of her that's, that is wonderful. So that's one thing I noticed. And then the other thing, I mean, one of my gratitudes was to my granddaughter, who is absolutely the best at, forcing. I mean, there is no way you can be with her and not be exactly in the moment all the time. So, I mean, that was, my gratitude for her is that, I mean, she finds joy. We went on a weekend a couple of weeks ago, and it was apparently the first time she sneezed and I said, "Bless you." And that was apparently the first time she'd heard that phrase. And she was just so delighted and just burst into laughter, and then spent the whole weekend after that sort of fake sneezing herself and then telling herself, "Bless you," and just giggling. And I mean, just the tiniest little thing. She finds joy in, pretty much everything. So for me, it's just like, I'm so grateful to her for, it's like forcing that being in the moment. So anyway, those are my couple of observations.
That is so lovely. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, and I feel the same about having focusing on all the problems in a dynamic, but today being like, what's actually going well? Like, what can I actually be appreciative about, even if this is a tender dynamic that usually is that way. Yeah, and Carmen, for being so sick, I think you look very vibrant. I was thinking that when you came on, so I just wanted to say that.
I
Does
think,
any-
oh,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I think also if you're finding, especially with the relationship ones, this is another like extra practice. But if there's someone who's feeling harder, if you feel like you need to do your own for them, like separate it out, and you can be grateful for the lessons they've taught you, like for pointing out triggers in yourself, stuff like that. If you want to like keep going, we're going to do a family themed one coming up, I think, in a few days too. So we'll have another opportunity to hit on those again, but feel free to like, if you need to like keep processing, this is also like a cool way to like go through it and like really actually like move through it too. So just something extra.
Love it. Does anyone, Michelle, you're unmuted. Do you want to share?
Yeah, because some of my favorite people are on this call. It makes me so happy. And after a whole week of travel and feeling so ungrounded, this was a perfect time to just like, okay, November 1st, Monday morning, I'm going to sit and I'm going to find my spot and I'm going to get my journal and I'm going to do this. It feels so good to just like you've all been talking about, drop into present time, like everything's been swirling, but like really be here and cultivate all this goodness. And like 3 of you on this call were on my list today because a couple of you I knew were going to be here. Like I am super grateful for all of you. And I've known some of you through other groups and things, but Beth and Jenna and Carmen, like you are some of my really favorite people. So super happy to be in this community again in a different way. I love it. And it, like we talk about, there is life and there's always that kind of swirling and heaviness, but as much as we can rise above and just try to stay in our own lane, as they say, like just kind of do your own work and as much as we can be that ripple. And I think gratitude is such a powerful force in that. So, it can sound cliche, but it's so true. Like I know how I feel, even if it is a challenging relationship or something, but like, can I focus on what's really a supportive energy? And like, that just rises up everything up. So thanks, ladies. Thanks, Lauren and Beth, for getting this going. Happy to be here. Yay.
We are happy to have you. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, what you say just makes me think about, how can we hold space for the energy of possibility? So in areas that are tricky, and we'll get into this a little bit later, just a preview of one of the days will be around like challenges that we're facing and things like that. That'll be a little bit down the road so that we can build our practice of gratitude and then get to the hard stuff. But the concept of, can we hold space for what does it feel like to be in the energy of possibility in this area of life today? And can I just let myself be there and cultivate that even just for a small period of time? Any other, sorry about any background noise that you may be able to hear. Any other people that want to share?
I'll say something. I'm Katie, and I don't know most of you here, but Beth is one of my dearest friends. And yeah, I actually, like you say, this is the gratitude practice for people who don't like to do gratitude practices, but I actually love gratitude practice and used to have a really strong, consistent practice. But we recently moved and we've been traveling and just completely uprooted. And yeah, all my practices have kind of gone out the window. And I'm feeling it big time. So I'm a super airy person anyway. So I'm very much like stuck mostly in the future, planning, and we're like creating an entirely different new life. And I'm like we're like living in our camper right now, and like, yeah, yeah, 2 kids, 2 dogs in the camper, in the wilderness, like just building this ridiculous life, which is super exciting. And I feel like what's been happening is I don't know how to do everything that we're doing. So I'm getting really overwhelmed and weighed down with the hows and the daily, grind of making this happen. And so it's been really hard for me to do that, like rise above and see and have the perspective, which is exactly where I need to be. Like I need to live in that place so that I can keep going. So yeah, when this popped up, I was like, hell yeah, this is like, thank you. So happy. And I have not done today yet. I actually looked at it and I live in this tiny space with my family. And I was like, okay, I'm going to need some time to like get there. But yeah, just feeling really grateful for the opportunity to do this in community together and have that accountability because yeah, I haven't established new rhythms at all. And so this can be sort of an anchoring point in my day to hopefully like help to establish that new practice. And even just being connected to you guys, like it feels like me to be connected in this way. And so that feels really anchoring too. So thank you. And I'm really excited.
Thanks for sharing, Katie. Yeah, Katie's story, amazing. I think we're going to do a thread in the Facebook group where people can connect, but because I think that would be really fun for everyone to be able to connect a little bit more. Also, please feel free to use that group as you see fit. Like this space is not just, it's really, this is temporary for this time. This is like no rules. If you want to make your own thread, if you want to show things in the middle of the day, send pictures, whatever, that is all welcome. But yeah, I think it's really cool to feel like what's interesting about this, and Lauren and I talked about, and Lauren touched on this too. I think everyone's sort of touching on this, but just, yeah, when we do this to ourselves, the kind of ripple effect that happens, after that, and how we are all, individuals, yet so deeply connected that when I move, you move in some way. Like our energies do really, from that unseen place, like in affect each other. And so it's really cool to have this like focus on the good to bring more of that. But yeah, Lauren, are you ready? Were you going to say
Yeah,
something
does
else?
anybody else want to share or are we? Yeah, Angela.
Oh, Angela. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Angela. I just wanted to say thank you to Lauren and Beth for this. I also used to have a pretty awesome gratitude practice, and then I don't know what happened to it. It's been a long time. So it was like, okay, yeah, it's time to get back into that. And I've got my new journal. So I'm feeling very good about keeping it going after the 11 days. But it was so interesting because, relationships, like I think I had 12 or something down, but actually only 3 of them are humans. And then I thought, should there be more humans on this list? And then I immediately realized, like, oh no, don't bring your shoulds into the gratitude practice. And then when Lauren said there was a family part, I made this horrible face and I was like, oh God, that one's going to be really tricky. But it's just so much has already come up from just this first one. So I'm really curious to see like how the whole 11 days plays out. So thank you for bringing themes, because all my gratitude practice, I think, has been generally pretty like one-sided. I don't really have to like force to go outside of my little box of, oh yeah, these are the obvious things I'm super grateful for. But then like even my one dog, I was like, well, I can't really leave him out, but what am I grateful for him for? And then it was like, I'm grateful that he brings, these challenges forward in my life. It makes me have to look at myself and ask myself questions. It's not like the other one that's like, he's so fun and it's always so great to be around him and I love him so much. So even just doing that exercise has brought so much forward to think about. So thank you both. And thank you to everyone else who's here to also just be in this space. It's feels like a really nice space to be in.
Yeah, thank you. And relationships, family, they can always be, we can do animal family too, always included. My dog is always, whenever I do a gratitude list, he's like number 1 or 2 all the time. So I feel you on that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so I'm just going to close us out. I thought it'd be nice if we could all just breathe together for a moment, sit in some gratitude in our heart spaces for each other. And I read something that said that the word thank you is a prayer. And if that's the only prayer you ever say, like, let it be this one. So just, when you're going about your day, I think from this practice, just for every little, like, the more you can think, thank you. And like, I'm grateful, like, it doesn't need to just be when we're sitting on our mats, like in our spaces. So with that, Beth and I are obviously super thankful you're here. So we'll just sit and settle in for a moment, taking a deep breath into the heart. Really feeling your heart begin to soften, feeling it from the front, from the back, and from the sides. And just imagining if we were all sitting in a circle here together, starting to breathe really deeply into your heart space. Just welcoming forward that gratitude for yourself, for showing up here today, for this group of women that is joined together in the name of gratitude, for creating greater ripple effects out onto this planet. Just really feeling the appreciation, the thanks, and the love. With your last deep breath, and slowly open your eyes, come back into the circle.
Thanks, Lauren, for doing that. So I think with that, we're just gonna let you all free, and we'll see you in the group. And just, again, feel free to reach out to us directly or in the group, whatever feels good to you. Cool. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Have a beautiful day.